Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. A great customer experience is everything, and we are hearing a lot about the automotive customer lifecycle. The Fixed Ops Roundtable is honored to welcome Jeff Bogaski, the Chief Revenue Officer at Affinitiv. Jeff, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Well, Ted, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here, happy to be part of such a great organization. I sit on many calls and listen to other leaders at the dealership level, at the OEM level, and at the other vendor level. And I love learning and hearing stories from them. And I'm just excited to be part of this amazing group.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations to you. By the way, I know that you and I know a lot of the same people
Yep.
over many, many years in the retail automotive industry. So, congratulations to you on taking this lead at Affinitiv. And we're looking forward to seeing a lot from your company over the next couple months.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell us a little bit, give us some backstory. Who is Affinitiv?
So Affinitiv, we're a leading provider of the end-to-end and the sales side. We work on the service side and the marketing side, and we work with automotive manufacturers, the OEMs, the dealer groups, and then also work with individual dealerships too. And then at the core, we're backed by decades and decades of automotive and marketing expertise to support about 5,000 dealerships all across the United States, working in every OEM that's out there today. We pull in data, so the solutions come down to the data. We pull that into our customer data platform, and it allows us to send out really good, targeted, timely, and very relevant communications that go throughout that customer's journey and customer lifecycle.
And you're uniquely qualified to take this lead because I mentioned that deep experience in automotive. Give us a little bit, Jeff, about your background before you came to Affinitiv.
Yeah, so I got in the automotive industry in the 90s at a car dealership, and I said, this might not be the path for me long term. And I got into the software side in the late 90s. I spent some time at ADP back in the day, and then at One Command in '08, I went to a company called Arcona. And there, through acquisitions, I ended up running sales for fixed operations at DealerTrack. Cox Automotive acquired us, and I moved over to that organization. I took over sales, eventually running all of sales for Xtime and DMS. So the past 9 years, I've been mainly all fixed operations. Just love what I do. I love the opportunity to help lead and grow. And I got into this part here at Affinitiv to help really change the way we look at Affinitiv and the mission. And I try to make every single decision that I do, I start at the customer. What's good for the customer, which is the end dealer? And then if it works there, how do we make it good for our employees, our reps that are out in the field? And if you start with the customer and you work backwards, you never can really make a bad decision. So just thrilled to be at Affinitiv, thrilled for the opportunity, and thrilled to be part of this group here as well.
You've worked with a lot of big brands that we recognize. Isn't it funny how, most of us got into retail automotive and that was never really the plan. It wasn't designed that way, but once you're in and I think automotive retail is probably the greatest secret in this country. It's so many opportunities for so many people, and fixed operations is really being highlighted right now. Tell us a little bit more about what Affinitiv does. You've got a number of services and products that you represent.
Yeah, so our mission is really about the next generation customer experience to help everyone in the industry be profitable, create lifelong customers and lifelong relationships. So we provide solutions in all aspects of the customer life cycle, from the sales side, converting them over to the service experience, and then working on that retention through marketing. Our solutions are strategy focused on multi-channel communications. They create the right mix of email and text, voice, and you can look at more traditional ways like print, mail, and every one of the communication can be customized to customer and then what their communication preferences are as well.
You've got some great products that are really timely right now in retail automotive, especially on the technology side and combining this customer life cycle. Can you share what some of those products are with the audience?
Yeah, sure, Ted. So on the sales side, if you look at that, if you think of car research, our CRM platform, which we call XRM, is really powered by the old car research tool. It's a
Wow.
great CRM tool out there. And then stay on the sales side momentarily. Quote is an equity mining tool, and we also have Trade in Valet. But we're at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, so let's focus on service. We have scheduling tool through our book platform. If you want to document the damage of a vehicle and the drive and look at upsells. We have a lane application. We have the multi-point inspection tool, which has really grown over the last 8 to 10 years. And then more recently, we've launched a couple products around technician video. So the service manager, the advisor, or the technician can send a video to the customer. And then in that same text thread, we developed and built RO tracker. So in that same text thread, you get the video. A customer then can watch the repair status of their vehicle, limiting the calls back into the dealership. And then the final, cap it off is retention side. That's really what Affinitiv is about. Essentials is that timely marketing communication tool. But if you want to customize things just a little bit more, we have what we call a newsletter. It's content that the dealer can help create and build, and it can go out on monthly or quarterly, even biannual, intervals to the dealer's customer list.
We're talking today to Jeff Bogaski. He's the Chief Revenue Officer at Affinitiv. Jeff, some of the products you just mentioned, it's interesting over the last couple, 2, 3 years, how customer expectations, it's almost now, if you didn't offer a lot of the things that you mentioned, you would really be behind as a retailer. And Affinitiv offers all of that. So I'm really pleased with some of the things you told us. Tell us more about that automotive customer life cycle. We're hearing a lot about it. And why is that important?
Well, today we have tech savvy and sophisticated customers, and they expect great experiences throughout the entire journey they go through at a dealership. And have a top-notch experience, require the best digital solution suites. And here, I think Affinitiv has all the right tools to help our dealers. That journey in the life cycle begins at what we call the awareness stage. It's where customers discover a brand. They do the research and the receptive communications that may be sent like an email or on a new vehicle release from your dealership. Then they move into what we call the research stage. They spend time online considering their buying options, but then they move into that consideration stage. And this is the first contact where a dealer would have with that customer. Then once they've made their decision, they move into what we call the purchase stage. And then after that, they move into that loyalty stage, which really hits home here. It's keeping that dealership top of mind for the consumer so they could go back in there for service, parts, and such. And then finally come back into that repurchase stage. That continues that customer's life cycle throughout the whole journey and hopefully repeats it for not only the customer, but for the household as well.
You do it all. And when you say automotive customer life cycle, that is from front to back and keeping the customer retained. I'm thinking when I went in with my vehicle recently for service, I got that video inspection from the technician as an example, right? Um, I couldn't imagine now having a service experience that didn't have a lot of these things along the way, the texts and the updates, and using the technology and to be respective for the customer's time. Um, Give me an example. What are some of the pain points that Affinitiv helps solve for your dealer clients?
Well, service and the importance of it to our dealers has never been more important. And it's changing and increasingly getting more and more aware with the addition of electric vehicles. It's even changing more so with that. The intervals for service on a car are longer, they're less frequent. And if I go back to when I got into this industry, my first automotive software job, spent little time on service. But then if I look at what I've done the past 8 or 9 years, it's been nothing but service. And here's how I look at it. It's like we're genuine men and women. They're out there just trying to solve genuine problems, create great experiences for the customers. In Affinitiv, we have the tools, we have the people, and we have the data that can help that communication. So we help communicate to retain the customers and the household's life cycle.
Jeff, I have never seen so much focus as right now on fixed operations with a lot of the supply chain issues that happened in new car inventory and how that affected used vehicle values and how a lot of that especially has fluctuated over the last few months. The focus is squarely right now on the service drive. So Affinitiv is in the right spot and with the right audience. And I know that our audience are also early adopters to a lot of new ideas and technology, but you've got a lot of things established. Give us a story or two from some of your retailers, and maybe how you solved some of those pain points with some of your products or services.
Ted, recently we had an advisor from a dealership that thanked us for our digital platform that handles the appointments and inspections and the customer communications, because they had a customer that had dropped off their car for service at the dealership. The system texted the customer automatically once the service had started, and the customer replied to the text thanking the advisor for the update. The advisor then updated the customer with photos of the vehicle's issues and confirmed the customer was okay with the additional work, all via the system's texting messages. At the end of the service visit, the customer replied back to the advisor that they were so happy with the dealership had the systems that allowed them to maintain this communication and not forcing them to call into the dealership to find things out. What we found out at the end of this story is the individual had a disability and was deaf and actually couldn't speak anyway. Not knowing this, we had the tools that really served the purpose of this person's disability and created the utmost best experience we could have done for that individual.
That's actually what a great topic. And we actually have had a number of panels here at the Roundtable at recent events, that talked about customers with disabilities, even service employees with disability as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, I really think that the new expectation now, and by the way, that really speeds up the service process when we can text the customer and not wait for a phone call back. And there's the technician with the vehicle in the bay, waiting for the okay to start the work. So it makes a lot of sense. So Jeff, you've got a whole platform of services at Affinitiv. You're serving thousands of dealers all across the country. What's the next step? If our audience wants to reach out, learn more about what Affinitiv does, first of all, are you folks going to be at NADA?
Oh, of course, we'll be at NADA. We'll be right by one of the main entrances. We're at booth 4475. Stop by and say hi. If nothing else, if you want to just know a little bit more about what Affinitiv does, I'd love to meet everyone. Love to talk to you, show you what we offer. We could talk about your customer life cycle and that journey. But we'd love to meet everyone. 4475 is the booth. You can also go to affinitiv.com. Of course, you have the thread through here. If you need to reach out to me directly, feel free to do that as well, too.
That's right. Some of our audience doesn't go to NADA, but they watch the Roundtable. It's amazing how many leaders are on here. So affinitiv.com, everybody, and learn more about what they do. Jeff Bogaski is the Chief Revenue Officer at Affinitiv. Jeff, great honor, and I'd like to invite you back. And maybe at our next event, we talk a little bit more with some of your folks, and hear a little bit more about those pain points and how you help solve a lot for a lot of your dealer clients.
I'll take any invite you send me, Ted. I'm excited to be here again, excited to join all the professionals I get to listen to and all your other calls as well, and be part of this journey that we're all on to make the experiences for the customer and for our dealers the best we possibly can. Thanks for having me.
Everybody, Jeff Bogaski is one of the great leaders in our industry. He's the Chief Revenue Officer at Affinitiv. For more information, you can reach out to Affinitiv at affinitiv.com. Jeff will also be at NADA booth number 4475 later this week. Jeff, on behalf of the Fixed Ops community, thank you so much, and great to have you on the Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted.
Jeff Bogaski here today from Affinitiv at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.